Go take a look at it.
The
Look,
research
I'm
says
going
the
to
crime
Arizona.
does not match what you're saying. The
depends on whose research.
the Pew Research, which is independent,
Okay,
says
don't be naive. You're a very naive person.
the Pew Research says that there are for immigrants on the whole
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Immigrants commit less crime than U.S.-born citizens.
Okay.
There are less immigrants in our jails than.
You know what? Number one, I disagree with it. Number two, whether it's true or not, illegal immigrants. I'm talking about illegal immigrants. I'm not talking about immigrants. I'm talking about illegal immigrants. I'm an immigrant. You're an immigrant. We're all immigrants.
Illegal immigrants commit less crime other than coming through illegally.
I'm talking about illegal immigrants.
Anyways, we went back to the hotel to get a jacket. It was a rainy, miserable day. And Sopan Deb, who I think might be here, was there. He's a CBS embed. He was really great at tweeting the whatever Donald Trump said whenever he said it. Was sitting on his computer and he gets this email blast before Ali Vitale and I do, and he just his face just drops. He looked like a cartoon, and he starts laughing awkwardly. What's going on? He's like, oh, you'll get it in 6 seconds. So Ali Vitale and I are aggressively refreshing our email.
Oh my.
And then it pops up, and it is this unexplainable statement. How do you explain what he is trying to do? And it was so broad at the time.
The total and complete shutdown phrase?
Total and complete shutdown of all Muslims entering this country. It was so broad, there was no detail.
Shall I read you the statement? Donald J. Trump is calling for, now listen, you gotta listen to this one because it's pretty heavy stuff, and it's common sense, and we have to do it. Remember the poll numbers, 25%, 51%. Remember the poll numbers. Okay, so remember this, so listen. Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on. We have no choice. We have no choice.
Campaign couldn't answer whether or not that meant Muslim soldiers who were deployed overseas, Muslim athletes who were competing overseas, Muslim citizens who might be visiting family overseas. Did that mean he was also going to deport Muslims? Nobody understood it. So we go to the rally, and this is in the belly of a old World War II warship. And it's right outside of Charleston, South Carolina. A bunch of vets. We go up and down the line. Ali Vitale does interviews with everybody up and down the line and tries to find anyone who might think that maybe this isn't a good idea. And the most that she could find in that immediate reaction was, this is before he took the stage, was, I've got to think about it. So that was what it was like. And you know, San Bernardino had just happened. Donald Trump was basically saying President Obama wasn't keeping you safe. He wasn't vetting people coming into this country. And the media is essentially complicit in this because we're not reporting the truth, what he saw as the truth. And so they're angry, and they feel scared, and they feel threatened. And who is the proxy?
Meanwhile, two random people, as far as the president's concerned, just tried to shoot up people in San Bernardino.
A searing new image of the couple who would become terrorists. July 2014, Tashfeen Malik and her husband, Syed Rizwan Farouk, arrive at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Tonight, a law enforcement source tells CNN it's believed Malik was radicalized before this moment.
Meanwhile, two random people, as far as the president's concerned, just tried to shoot up people in San Bernardino.
Did she radicalize him, or was it the other way around?
We still do not know, but I will say this. As the investigation has progressed, we have learned and believe that both subjects were radicalized and have been for quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, let's keep reminding, this is the climate and the atmosphere and the concern.
Yeah. And the proxy for all of that anger directed at, the proxy for the establishment, for the Obama administration, is this group of reporters who are pressed up in this press pen, which is smaller than usual, and this place is more crowded than usual. We're slammed up against a wall, but we're still in the middle of the room. We're surrounded on all sides. There's really no way to get out. And Donald Trump takes the stage, and he takes a long route to get into the Muslim ban, talks about his poll numbers, which he always started with.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. We start by paying our great respects to Pearl Harbor. We don't want that stuff. We don't want World Trade Centers. We don't want that ever happening to us again. It's not going to happen to us again.
Long route to get into the Muslim ban, talks about his poll numbers, which he always started with.
So I want to thank everybody for being here. This is a great honor. There are thousands of people outside. And sometimes I'll say, would you like to wait about an hour till they all come in? But we can't get them in anyway, so what difference? We all got lucky. We're together tonight. Thank you.
Which he always started with, no matter the occasion. And, you know, he was angry at me about a tweet I sent a couple days earlier.
The mainstream media, these people back here, they're the worst. They are so dishonest. No, they're so dishonest. They are so dishonest. I mean, I had one from NBC, a reporter from NBC, and actually another one, I think, from CBS. They actually, in Columbus, Ohio, I had a tremendous crowd, like 10,000 people. It was a love fest. Ready? O-H! 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 Great place. It went on for a long time. Everybody stayed right till the end. Right till the end. I had one of the politicians, Kasich, who was just getting, he's a horrible debater. To me, he's a horrible, he made a statement that, they left after 10 minutes. Now, the press was there, they saw it. Nobody says it was a lie. It was a total lie. In fact, I had more people at the end than I had at the beginning. Nobody's leaving. Nobody's leaving here except for the one person that was screaming. So, we asked the press to report that it was a total lie, and they don't want to do that because it's not a thing to do. You know, we get the biggest crowds. They don't want to show this crowd tonight. They're not going to show all the people outside trying to get in. They don't do that. They have the cameras right on my face. I say, fan the crowd just to show them. Look at all the people over here. It's a record in the history of the ship. But they don't show it. They don't show it.
You know, he was angry at me about a tweet I sent a couple days earlier.
So we talk about the media, and by the way, some of the media is terrific, but most of it, 70%, 75%, is absolute dishonest, absolute scum. Remember that, scum. They're totally dishonest people. I had one the other day where I finished the speech and they said, Trump was interrupted and he left early. Like, I spoke like for 45, 50 minutes. I then answered questions, and then I went around and did, everybody knew it was false. Amazingly, there's a media group that calls the media, and the next day they did the most beautiful story about what a lie it was from NBC. She's back there, little Katy, she's back there. What a lie it was. No, what a lie, Katy Turr. What a lie it was from NBC to have written that was a total lie. And they did a story where I didn't know they had a group like this, where they actually criticized the media. And they said it was a total lie. And I loved it. I loved it. And then other people pick it up. It's NBC, so somebody picks it up. Third-rate reporter. Remember that, third-rate. Third-rate.
Have you figured out why he would come after you, specifically you?
I have not personally figured out why it was me, but I will say that it started from the very beginning. It could have had something to do with me being the first network correspondent that was assigned to cover him. I was the very first one there taking the campaign seriously at a time when there were headlines that said, Donald Trump is running for president. It's going to be so hilarious.
Third-rate reporter. Remember that, third-rate.
And I mean, the waves of insults. You know what it's like when Donald Trump tweets you.
Mm-hmm.
When Donald Trump tweets you, it's like he awakens this.
It unleashes, I guess what I'm trying to get at here and try to get you to share here, because it's very hard to share sometimes. It unleashes some demons.
People were saying things to me that I
didn't know that people would say in the English language.
Yeah, I mean, saying things that I couldn't believe, but also threatening my life.
I was young. Maybe he thought he could change my coverage, make it more favorable to him. Maybe he thought he could intimidate me. The reality is, if he knew anything about me, anything at all, one quick Google search, you'd find out that it's not easy to intimidate me. I don't get intimidated.
So, yeah, I mean, saying things that I couldn't believe, but also threatening my life. And there's one in particular that I'm thinking of, you know, we should kill them all, let's start with Katy Turr.
By the way, I heard people gasp.
One quick Google search, you'd find out that it's not easy to intimidate me. I don't get intimidated.
That wasn't the first time you got a death threat. How many death threats? How often?
I don't know.
Right. You run out of, you can't keep track of how many times.
How many have you gotten?
But that's the thing. Right now, in this era, I don't have a hard number. I'm guessing you don't have a hard number either.
No, and you couldn't possibly have one because you couldn't scroll through the messages you get. And I mean, people would send things to my office that were questionable. Somebody sent me a dozen roses, which maybe was nice, I don't know. But the card was, "There will be a day." No idea what that means. It terrified me.
One quick Google search, you'd find out that it's not easy to intimidate me. I don't get intimidated.
No idea what that means. It terrified me. Yeah, so it unleashes this anger. So I was already feeling it, and I was keeping a low profile that day because I just felt like after he called me out, I don't want to be the most visible person out there. And so I sat down on the press riser to, I don't want to say hide, but just keep a low profile.
Right.
And I'm taking notes, and it's the theme, and then I heard my name. And he's saying, "Little Katy, she's back there." Not just Katy Turr's a liar. Katy Turr, she's back there, pointed at me.
What a lie it was. No, what a lie, Katy Turr.
And the whole place was just alive with anger. Men were standing on their chairs, just yelling at me.
Bullshit.
And one woman booing. I saw one woman to my left, an older woman, and she just looked horrified on my behalf.
Bullshit.
My phone again starts buzzing. But you know, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? You put it aside. You don't run out there, you know, screaming, "I'm scared." But that's not going to help you. So I smiled and I waved. I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Third-rate reporter. Remember that, third-rate.
His speech. He never found a flow. He also was dealing with what we learned later was a little bit of laryngitis, so he was sick. And when the 10th protester interrupted him, he abruptly stopped his speech. For him, it was not like his usual speeches, and walked away from the mic. And I tweeted about it. Rachel Maddow picked it up a little bit later, and the campaign was furious. They didn't like this idea that protesters would force Donald Trump from the stage, and walked away from the mic. And I tweeted about it. Rachel Maddow picked it up a little bit later, and the campaign was furious. They didn't like this idea that protesters would force Donald Trump from the stage.
What a lie it was.
He also was dealing with what we learned later was a little bit of laryngitis, so he was sick.
We are sitting on something that's bigger than any of us understands or knows. I always say, make our country great again. And I've been saying for the last 3 weeks, because I've really gotten to know the people, we are going to make our country great again, greater than ever before.
And they took issue with the word abruptly. And I took issue with their taking issue because at that point I'd been to more Trump rallies than I could count. And I knew how he ends a rally with a crescendo towards "Let's make America great again." This did not happen.
That's a lie.
We are going to make our country great again, greater than ever before. I love you. Thank you very much. We're going to make it greater than ever before. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Abruptly stopped his speech.
Donald Trump at this speech tonight in Raleigh, North Carolina was interrupted by different protesters 10 separate times in this speech. There was an NBC reporter in the room who counted them that said, all reporters are dishonest. At the end of the 10th interruption, Mr. Trump ended his speech and walked off the stage.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And I got an email from Hope Hicks the next day saying, Mr. Trump found your tweet to be disgraceful. Not nice! Exclamation point.
And I just got on with it. And then he announced the Muslim ban, and I did a couple hits for Chris Matthews and then Chris Hayes. And then, the room started to empty, and one of Trump's staffers shooed away people that were lingering around the press pen, and then pointed out, said, these two guys are going to walk you to your car. And it was two Secret Service agents.
So it's Trump staffers.
It was one Trump staffer.
What was actually worried about your safety?
Yeah. I don't know if this extended to anybody else in the campaign, but this one person.
But there was some awareness somewhere in the campaign that, this may have gone too far.
It's not easy to intimidate me. I don't get intimidated.